Hello, wonderful people. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? This is Lawyers Info Hub. We're glad to have you here today. So, today we are going to have a wonderful chat with our guest today. So, if you're a returning subscriber, we appreciate you for always stopping by to the channel to check what is new on the channel. And for you who is watching us for the first time, this is Lawyers Info Hub. It's a platform where we reach out to law students, we reach out to lawyers, we teach law, we help people share their experiences, all aim at helping you to become excellent in practice, excellent as a lawyer, and excellent in all you do in life. So, for without much ado, we have a guest here. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So, our guest today is a law student. So, we're looking at the life as a Nigerian law student. Yes, a lot of people want to go to law school. They don't know what Nigerian law school is all about. A lot of people who are outside the country want to come do their bar part one, bar part two. They don't even understand how it feels like. So we're going to look at all these things in a short while. So friends, just join me as we have this chat with our guest. So Simi, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Please can you introduce yourself?
Okay, so my name is Simi. I am currently, as you have said, I'm currently a Bar 2 student at the Nigerian Law School. And
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. So you're
thank you.
welcome. Great, great, great. So Simi is a part two law student at the Nigerian Law School. So we're going to ask a few questions. Her exposition will let us know how it is being a law student at the Nigerian Law School. We hope you will get one or two things from this video to help your life. So Simi, how has it been coming to Nigeria to do your bar part one and bar part two?
It's been quite okay. So I did my Bar Part 1 first. So as an international student, when you come back to Nigeria to join the bar, you have to first of all start with the bar part one, which essentially just
Yeah,
puts you through um, what other Nigerian graduates, law graduates, would have been doing during their five
yeah.
years. And usually that lasts for about 3 months. So I did
Okay.
that, and then I went on to do the bar part two. And so far, so good. It's been okay. Bar part one was a breeze. Bar part two is also going well, thank God. Um,
Yeah.
the difference between bar part one and bar part two is obviously the fact that bar part two is more procedural. Bar part one is substantive law, but bar
Wow.
part two is really where the meat is. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So for international students who are outside Nigeria who desire to come back home to go through the law school, you have to do BAC part one and BAC part two. And she said in BAC part one, within 3 months, she was able to go through it because it's just about the substantive law. They put you through the foundation and for you to understand the basic substantive law. Then BAC part two is now where you're taught the procedure that will help you in practice, as you step out to become a full-fledged lawyer. So, Simi, since the bar part two has started, how do you see the lecture scheduling and how the lecture is going? How do you see the arrangement, the timing? Does it give students room to study? Is it choking? Is it something that is stressful? Is it something that makes will make a student to always complain? So how is the time scheduling in terms of the studies and the lectures?
Okay, so currently we're at the law school. We're trying to keep with COVID protocols, and I'm in the
Okay.
Lagos campus. So prior to COVID, the normal rule was that lectures will start at 9 and then finish maybe at 3, 4 if you're lucky. Really late. But with the COVID protocols, what has happened is that they've split us into two streams. So we have a morning stream that starts from 8 till about 12, and then we have an afternoon stream that starts from 1 till about 5. So usually, what would happen is that the um, the student affairs, they would regulate it. So 1 week we would have stream A in the morning, and then the following week we'd have stream A in the afternoon. That way, no one gets too comfortable. And in some way, it's a lot better than having the whole day, because we've also had like one stream as well where we have like the entire day, and everybody's exhausted and we still have to have group meetings and everything, and people are like,
Yeah.
when we have the time to study. But with the current system where there's two streams, you can, if it's that you're waking up in the morning early to go for class early, you do that, you come back,
Yeah.
maybe you want to take a nap, maybe you want to study, and then you go for your group meeting. There's a bit more flexibility. But then like when we do have the one streams on rare occasions, you know that flexibility is taken away, and as people would usually say, like, there's not that much time to read, because you're trying to keep up with your task for tomorrow, you're trying to keep up with your group meetings,
Yes.
you're also just trying to be alive and take care of yourself. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. That's nice. I'll say the COVID introduced that division in terms of stream one, stream two. I think it's not bad. So if you're
Yeah.
not going to class in the morning, you use the mornings effectively. You can
Yeah.
study so that by the time you go to the morning session is over, you go for your afternoon class. But the thing is that it is more work for the lecturers. So I would
Yes.
say kudos to the lecturers who are there morning, evening to ensure that these students go through the law school to have quality education with this area. So, in terms of group meetings, you mentioned group meetings. When I was in the law school, I will know that many people skip group meetings. They always say it's not interesting, waste of time. So, what do you think group meetings are necessary, and do you think that people are utilizing the essence of the group meeting?
Hmm. Okay, so group meetings, I think it depends, really. It depends on your group.
Okay.
Um, I think for us in Lagos, it's usually quite hard to just skip out on group meetings, because they take attendance very seriously. But I've heard from different
Seriously,
people. So
okay.
some people find group meetings helpful. Um, some people
Okay.
see like, "Ugh, it's a waste of time." I'd say that it has its advantages and disadvantages, because advantages, one of them being that you get to go over the work, especially with these two streams.
Yes.
So if you are, for instance, assigned a question to do, you know, let's say you had your class in the morning, when you come back, you can quickly just, look over tomorrow's topic or whatever your question is, and you can just say, okay, you get to skim over. So at least during your group meeting, you can contribute in some way, so that's an
Yes.
advantage in a sense. But there's a disadvantage, and I guess this comes from how group meetings are coordinated, in the sense that you could come there, and if everything's disorganized, you can find out that you spend like 5 hours just arguing on god knows what. But one thing that the Lagos campus, they've tried to do is that they know that the timing is not always favorable for everybody. Everybody's tired, or
Yeah.
like they want to read and stuff like that. So one thing that they did was that, what, okay, group meetings should be, I think they made it about 2 hours long. They said that it should only last from a certain time to a certain time, so that way.
Okay.
And with that, like, group leaders have said, okay, fine, before you
It's
come,
not exhaustive,
this,
but yeah, you can
yeah,
manage the
so like,
timing so you don't go into
yeah,
the waste the whole day.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So like before, like,
Yeah.
we come, certain people would have answered certain questions. So what we just come to do is discuss. Although there's still the whole idea of,
Okay.
like, people may not pay attention, or if you haven't even read the topic, you may not really flow. But in terms of time management, I think like the system is a bit better in that sense.
Okay.
But not
Yeah.
everybody may enjoy group meetings, and that's totally understandable.
It's true.
But if your campus says you have to be there, you just have to be there.
Wow, thank you. That's wonderful. Now, because we're talking about life as a Nigerian law student, let's look at the feeding. Let's look at the food. Let's look at the other utilities. In some campus, because in all campuses, you have to buy food and all of that because there's no room for you to start cooking. You're not there to cook. You're there to study. Now, do you think there's enough provisions for feeding in terms of people having different delicacies, not just having a monotonous meal? So, with your experience in the Lagos campus, so what's your take on the feeding arrangement as far the various food vendors available, the utilities in terms of the hostel, the toilet area? So for you, is it sufficient? Is it okay?
Okay, in terms of feeding, I think this is subjective, but from what I've seen, it seems like,
Yeah.
there's a good variety of, places that
Okay.
people can eat, particularly depending on your budget. Like people are not limited to what's on campus. So there's that. I think the only thing is, a lot of people do complain that, the food doesn't sit well with them. So
Yeah.
like you may be limited in choices. For instance, for me, the only thing that I can probably eat on campus is jollof rice. So for
Okay.
me, like I don't have that much variety. So it just depends on the individual really and how
Individual
their
preferences.
body system settles with the food and everything. In terms of facilities, again, it depends on the individual and what they're used to. So in
Yeah.
Lagos campus, they have the regular hostels and they have the executive hostels. The regular
Okay.
hostels, they have 6 people in the hostel and 12 people to share a bathroom. And then the executive hostel, they have 2 people in a room to share a bathroom with 2 other people, or you could have one
Okay.
person, yeah, or you could have one person in a room to share a bathroom with another person, or you just have one person on your own. But the executive hostels come at a cost. So again, it's a subjective thing.
Thing.
So people are satisfied with, the living arrangements, and for those who feel they are not satisfied, they tend to say, okay, maybe they'll go off campus, or maybe they'll get
And
executive, things like that.
boutique.
But generally, like, we're only there for a short period of time anyways, so it's something that can be overlooked for the period of time that we're there.
Okay, that's nice. So, Sibi is just trying to say that the accommodation is based on budget. So, if you feel you can afford the executive lounge, the hostels, fine. But I'm aware that some campuses don't have that executive arrangement. They just have hostels. So, but you have to just manage as a student. You find a way around it. So there's still this shared accommodation thing in terms of use of convenience. So it does depend on individual preferences, but there are still accommodations you can get outside the campus to suit your choice and your level and your status depending on you. So it's all about individual preferences. So there are accommodations in school and also there are accommodations outside the school. Yeah, let's look at the teaching delivery. They teach the lectures. Do you think the way it's being delivered it is enough? People do you think it's sufficient even for a slow learner to catch up with the pace? How is the teaching delivery like?
So I think the teaching is delivered quite okay. Um, for I know that there are certain people in class that have special needs. So say for instance those who can't
Okay.
really hear properly and things like that. And
Properly.
one thing that I've noticed is that like once they've made their complaints known to student affairs and to the school authorities, they take it upon themselves to ensure that these students are well taken care of.
Zero.
Personally, I have a friend in a condition like that, and what they try to do is that they ensure that she's always sitting in a specific place in front, so
Okay.
that she can follow up with the lecturers.
With what is
And
happening? Yeah.
yeah, and during the lectures as well, the lecturers can come and like ask them questions, to ensure that they carry them along as well. And also I do
Okay.
know that outside of classes as well, they try and explain stuff. So if
Okay.
you go to the lecturer's office, um they can ask questions. So it's like an open door policy. And this goes beyond people with special needs. Yeah, it goes for everyone as well.
Yeah.
you know um I'd say that the teaching methods are, very, very, very good. They definitely pay, attention to the students, if at all the students make themselves available for that attention. Because it's one thing to just attend class and just leave, but if you say, what, outside the class I want to speak to my lecturer, I want to do this. And one of the things that they actually do is that when
Yeah.
we're doing our drafts, the lecturers try and go around, but it's a big class with nearly 1,500 people. So,
Okay.
one thing that they allow as well is that, if you've done a draft, you can bring it up on stage, have them look at it, have them mark it. And obviously, it's not everybody that's going to go. So, again, we it may be a big class and there may not be like a decent lecturer to student ratio, but they do try as much as possible
Yeah.
to ensure that, everyone is carried along during the class. Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. And I also hope that other campuses are doing these things, because as the years go by, there are a lot of innovations here and there. One very particular thing that stood out for me during my time at the law school was the legal clinic. The legal clinic, I know some campuses have it, and almost all campuses subscribe to the legal clinic. So for you, do you think the legal clinic is helping students in terms of advocacy, practical practical experience or first-hand experience, or teachings on advocacy, practice of law? So, what's your take on legal clinic in the law school?
So unfortunately, I haven't had access to the legal clinic. We haven't had access to the legal clinic. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, many people love the legal clinic, even though, as at the time I was at the law school, it wasn't like compulsory. If your time permits, you walk in to know what happens at the legal clinic. They teach you how to present your case, how to, advocacy tips. How to, take on trials, handle cases for clients, and all of that. So now, I want to talk about the midnight readings, and the fast pace of teaching. Many people, they didn't come, they went through school on it, and they are not like fast readers, nor they just take their time. They're just slow paced by nature. So at the law school, everything is timed, everything is going on fast. So people will lose touch of what's happening before they open their eyes. They are in week 4, they are in week 5, they are in week 6, they've not revised. So they are like, what's happening? So that thing is one of those things that make people, they're always afraid, they're jittering. Will I pass? Will I not pass? So, what tips can you share now to help other people who watch this video on how to manage your time at the law school and how to be confident that you will pass your bar finals?
Okay. So I'd probably say the first tip that I'd give is, start revising from day one. Or as people
Yeah,
would say, start studying. Me, I would say start revising, because the first time you come in contact with the topic, anytime
yeah,
after that, yeah, revising it.
yeah,
So start reading from day one. If it's to form notes, if it's not to form notes, like however it is. I think one thing about law school is that it will test your reading style. You may think that you're
yeah,
comfortable with this, but you come to law school, you will try that one, you try another one, you try everything just to make sure whichever one, makes
work.
the stew taste nice, you know, you go with that. So like start reading from day one. And also I'd say try and read ahead of class as well. This one is a bit tricky because it's like with all the activities you have during the day, it's like you also want me to read before class. But it helps to at least just skim over and just at least have an idea of the topic. And I would also say, look at the tasks, try and solve them if possible. This is one thing I would say I struggle with, but
Yeah,
you are trying to prepare yourself to answer exam questions, and where is the best place to start your tasks? So try and start solving your tasks. And one thing that I do personally is that I do a weekly schedule and I do a daily schedule of what it is that I want to, so I know what topics that we'll be treating during the week. I've put it there that okay, on Monday criminal litigation we're doing charges. On Tuesday civil we're doing pleadings. Okay, fine. So that's my weekly tasks, right? So my daily tasks, I'm going to be in class from this time to this time. When I come back, I'm going to spend this time to this time resting. This time to this time should be my group meeting. And then this time to this time should be the time that I study. So putting structure helps. You may not end up following it strictly, but the fact that you have structure, it helps to
Helps you
shape your mind and put you in the right position that,
focus.
okay, this is what I have to do and this is when I have to do it, you know.
Yeah.
And I was just gonna say another thing, but I think it slipped my mind. Essentially, yeah, just have a structure of what it is you want to do. Yes, so another thing I try and do is that, so I have a notebook where I take down all these things. And
Yeah.
one thing that we do in class, so whenever we get to a topic and they're like, okay, this is what you're drafting, I make sure that I make a list of the things that we drafted that week for the different um,
Okay.
courses, so that I have a hang on, okay, these are the things that I need to know how to draft. And
Okay.
even down to externship as well, like preparing for externship. One thing that I know a lot of people in
Yeah.
Lagos campus did was we prepared timetables. You know, we split all the topics, you know, um into the 12 weeks that will be away from campus, so that,
Okay.
you know, on each day we know what we're supposed to be doing.
Supposed to do.
And one advice that the lecturers always give is try and study for 8 hours a day. The truth is, you may not be able to do 8 hours a day. But one thing some people usually say is you may not actually sit at your desk for 8 hours, but if
Boys.
you're in class from certain time to certain time, it's counted as studying because again you're coming in
Yeah.
contact with the topic. A topic
Yeah.
that even you read ahead of class, when you're coming in contact with it in class, at that point is even almost revision for you.
Of
So
course.
yeah, so you know, all these things add up. They're just like little drops in the bucket, if anything. So just have structure. Just have structure. You may not, there'll be days when you don't follow it, but it's very rewarding
Yeah.
when
But
you
there's
can look
something
at
to
your
learn.
book and you can tick it off that I've done this.
Mm, that is good. In just my little contribution is keep reading, never stop reading. Weekends, keep reading as much as there are a lot of activities that can distract someone. There are socials, there's religious groups here and there, a lot of personal stuff you need to people are engaged in. But you have to understand that why you are there is for you to excel. You are there for you to pass. So time scheduling is very important. And for me, I read every day at the law school because I didn't want to just take things for granted. A lot of people don't understand at the first time they read, so they need to keep reading maybe two more times or three more times before it sticks. So if you're slow assimilate, someone that's assimilates very slowly, you must keep reading. Then there are some people that once they read something, it sticks. So another thing works for them. They might choose to read maybe 2 months for exam, fine, but you have my own advice too is that you study or read every day. Don't let any day pass before, even if it's to contribute 1 hour, 2 hours, depending on your stability, your strength. But don't just go to school, sleep any day without reading, because the law school period is short time. It is for a specific period. It's not going to last. And when you keep reading, you will not die. I tell people hard work does not kill. What kills is laziness. And before you close your eyes and open, you're done. The exam is 2 weeks' time. So keep reading. You can stay away from social media. Even though when we were at the law school, the social media was still there. But if you stay away from social media in 10 months, it will not destroy your life. Rather, it will add value. So this is my own advice to people who will watch this video, who are watching this video. When you're at the law school, you have to reduce your social media interaction. These are things that distract you in class. These are things that distract your reading timetable. So you are there to excel. You are there to pass. you are there to make good grades. So anything that will make you not to achieve those things should stay away. A lot of people that go to law school, it's time for relationship, there is time for everything. So you must focus. So for an intending law school student who is watching us today, or whoever is going to watch any other time, know that it's time for everything. Your time at the law school, you have to utilize it. It's not time for peripherals. It's not time for trivialities. So if you need to put a hold on certain things, put a hold on them. When you're done from law school, you go back. So it's a do for me. It's a one-time thing, and you have to excel. So for me, I feel I should read and excel once. So with that mindset, I don't give room to trivialities. So I feel that should be the driving force. Keep at it, keep studying. And for me, I was making notes. So at some point, 2 weeks to exam, 3 weeks to exam, a month to exam, I had summarized my point. So I was now going through my book because I've put down things I have read. So depending on your style, everybody has their own style. But you will see that if you had studied over time during that exam period, when the exam fever is too much, when people are running, people are getting sick, people are traumatized, fear has entered into the hearts of people, you'll be confident because all these things you already know them and it's at the tip of your finger. So as we are concluding, I want us to talk about the externship. We will conclude at that point. Now, the externship where you do the cut attachment and the chambers attachment. So for you, do you think this externship is really important? It's really necessary? Do you think you're learning something from your externship?
Yeah. So like the advice that we got from law school is that pay attention during the externship. It's a good
Yeah,
chance to learn. Past students also give their own advice that what, this is the time to read your books. That really there's nothing you can learn in this extension period that you won't learn after law school. So there's
yeah,
that. But I'd say that it's been a good balance because it's giving us time to read, but even at that, it's also allowed us to learn because for instance, we're still in the court attachment process, and
yeah.
you know in courts we get to see all the things that we've been hearing and reading about in class. So we get
Wow.
to see it,
Yeah,
you know how it happens. Like in class they've asked us, how do you move emotion, and people will be like, my worship, my lord, my this. But when you're in court, you actually see how they actually move emotion, how they move in
yeah,
terms,
yeah,
the things that we haven't even done in class. We're already hearing and reading about it. And the judges are very lovely.
yeah,
A lot of them, after the court proceedings, they will sit us down, talk to us, answer
yeah,
questions, you know um, essentially just ensure that we are learning, not just watching what's
yeah,
going on. And I think, like,
yeah.
generally it's been a good time for reading, but also a good time to reconcile the things that we've been learning in class with what we're seeing. So yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not bad. I think the extension period, I think that for me, the extension period should be part and parcel of the program. It's a time for you to see in practical terms those things you're reading for the courts placement, then for the chambers, where you learn about law office administration, even though you might not be able to learn all these things in 12 weeks, but it gives you an idea of what it's going to look like after school. So it's an integral part of the law school. I maintain it should continue because it helps. It's also another time for you to read because once you're back from your place, your externship, everything is even the pace is increased. Before you know it, you're done, and exam stares you in the face. So I think the externship um, is okay, it's cool, and most judges are trying, explaining to students, accommodating them, speaking to them. So kudos to judges who are giving great time to the students. And for the law office placement. You also understand how the law office runs, the filing, how to endorse a diary, how the file rooms are arranged, how client interview is done, just basic things. You may not be able to learn everything because most people are maybe posted to firms that are not too busy, while some will be posted to firms that are busy. So either way, you just learn few things, but it gives you an idea of what you're coming into. So by the time you're done with law school, it will be a new thing to you. You're already used to it, and you can as well just assimilate easily wherever you find yourself. So what advice, as we end, what advice do you have for law students who are still in the university, who are outside Nigeria trying to come to Nigeria to do their law school? What advice do you have for them that is working for you, that you feel they should hold on to as we wrap up?
Okay, one advice that I can give is that try and get legal work experience before you come to the law school. So try and do internships, familiarize yourself with, the courts, familiarize yourself with a law firm that you are in. And I say this because personally, I interned for quite some time before law school started. And this gave me some sort of, would I say, advantage because, say, for instance, I was exposed to quite a number of civil um, proceedings. So when we were in class and we were talking about, pleadings, we were talking about how to draft certain things, I'd been looking for the past how many months, close to a year, I'd already been looking at statements of claim, statements of defense, affidavits. So it's like, okay, yeah, this thing, like I know where this thing goes, like, things like that. And a lot of things
Yeah,
were not foreign to me. For instance, when we were doing pre-incorporation contracts in corporate law, it was something
yeah,
that I had worked on during my internship
Queen,
um,
yeah,
for a startup. So it was like, oh, okay, yeah, this makes sense. So if you can try and get legal work experience, you know, when you do that, you familiarize yourself with the process. You allow yourself to get that practical feel because for a lot of people, externship is where they really get the practical feel. But if you're able to have like this practical knowledge before you go into law school, so that the first time you're well, not necessarily the first time, but technically the first time that you're being taught these topics, it's like, oh yeah, this makes sense.
yeah,
This makes sense. It's easier to understand,
yeah,
and even beyond that, you give yourself the opportunity to actually just decide, do I really want to embark on this journey? I think that's the most important thing because, you know, if you know you don't want to be a lawyer,
yeah,
then I don't think there's any point going on the journey at all. So it's definitely,
yeah. Yeah. So it's been an amazing time chatting with you, Sydney. I wish you
thank
well in
you.
your studies. I wish you well
Thank
in
you.
all your endeavor. I pray that you will
Thank you.
excel, and also pray that as you venture into whatever you desire, God will help you to be the best in all you do. So do have a great
Amen.
time. Friends
Thank
will
you.
help you learn something from this chat. The life of a Nigerian law student. And I will hope that for those who are yet to go to law school, this video will be of great help to you so that you understand what you're going to face and see and draw from this experience to become better. So do take care of yourself. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please do hit the subscribe button, share this video, drop your comments if you have, and we will respond to them. Do take care of yourself and bye.